Hi, this is the video for Daf Shevui, Daf Peh Bet, page 82. I am, as always, Josh Kulp. I wanted to go over just a couple of the issues brought up in this Gemara, which is a lot of short pieces, but a lot of them are concerned with the nature of Yibum, of levirate marriage, and what it is and what happens at Yibum, and how does a woman who is a Yavama, which is really a woman awaiting levirate marriage, become a regular wife. The Mishnah that the Gemara picks up on, for the most part, is Knasa Hare Hi Kiishto. Once he marries her, she becomes his full wife. In other words, she is no longer in the status of Yavama, of woman awaiting levirate marriage, or even, quite frankly, woman who had levirate marriage, except for one issue, and that is the ketubah, and we'll get back to that. But for all other matters, she is now considered his full wife. And what does that mean, and why do we even need to know this? Well, let's talk about, let's say, the what does it mean part, is what Mishnah says that, and the Gemara says that when he divorces her with a get, and he can remarry her. And both of these are not as intuitive. I think the Gemara is correct. These are not as intuitive as we might have thought. A woman awaiting levirate marriage does not really need a get. What she needs to allow her to be married to somebody else, not to the brother, is called chalitza, release from levirate marriage. So that works to a certain extent like a get, but it is not a get. Once this woman is married, she no longer needs chalitza. In other words, her nature is now regular wife and not woman who had yibum, who had levirate marriage. That past doesn't matter at all. Umachzira, meaning he can remarry her, again, as the Gemara basically says, is not as simple as we might have thought, and this requires a little review. When a brother dies, his wife is permanently prohibited from marrying any of the other brothers, regardless, right? Even when he's dead, right? Obviously, well, not obviously. If he divorces her, she can't marry one of the other brothers. And even more so, when he dies and he's no longer there, there's no longer connection because he's no longer alive, she still cannot marry any of the other brothers, except for the case of Yibum, when this becomes mandatory. This was a real conundrum. It was something that many ancient commentators and already the rabbis argued about it with perhaps the Pharisees even argued about it with the Dead Sea sect, and I believe the Karaites continued to argue. How can you have a prohibition of marrying your brother's wife and a mitzvah to marry your brother's wife at the same time? And the rabbis said basically that's the way it is. You have a prohibition of marrying your brother's wife unless you have a mitzvah, which is a case where they did not have any children, or more specifically, where your brother did not have any children. But once she's married, she is no longer ever back into the category of brother's wife. And I think that was important to the rabbis. Once she's married, she is in the category of your wife. And there's a rule that you're allowed, a man is allowed to remarry his wife as long as she doesn't remarry somebody else in between. In other words, if Reuven divorces his wife, he can immediately remarry her, but not if Shimon has married her after he divorces her. Then she becomes prohibited forever. That's called hamachzir gerushato, one who remarried his wife. So that's pretty much the way the rabbis looked at it, that Yibum is over once marriage takes place, and all of the prohibitions, all of the reality of Yibum, of her being eligible for levirate marriage, are completely over, and now she's just a regular wife. The only exception was financial, is that her ketubah, her marital payment, has a lien on her first husband's property and not on her second husband's property. But as far as all prohibitions and the nature of the marriage go, this marriage is considered to be a normal marriage, and now she's a wife, and any of the laws that apply to a regular husband and wife apply to this one as well. By the way, maybe there's another havamina, I should say, lurking in the background. If the biblical point of this was to have a child for the brother, then you might have thought that, Once she has a child, the husband and wife, right, the brother, right, who married his brother's wife, should just divorce her because she now goes back to being prohibited. The whole point was to have at least one child. The rabbis don't look at it that way. They look at this as a full marriage, and she is basically 100% his wife now, except for that one legal matter. And all issues of yibum are really in the background.